True Love's Kiss. And of course it had to be Takoda, because he's one of our biggest kissers, other than Alaska. But we do have a little trick, because he loves the chapstick, Paul's chapstick. And he discovered it because every time Paul would put it on, he'd jump on him and start licking it off. So now we can do it with other people. But I think he's just a little too distracted right now. Hey, we can pick him up later. For those of you who haven't been here in a couple of weeks, we've been kind of covering a lot of grief, a lot of heartache, and a lot of isolation, and feelings of sadness, and how to work and navigate through that in a very loving way. And so this week I just thought, you know, a kiss can cure anything. And to talk about True Love's Kiss. And also, if you're familiar with the talks, Mary's granddaughter, Natalia, who's not here today, she was over one day and she asked me all these movies, and have I seen these movies? And of course, there's movies that the kids and their parents watch. And I don't have those kind of children. And these guys, I watch other kinds of things. And so she goes, oh my goodness, you've been so deprived. And she said, I have to start watching more movies, and she gave me a list. So I was skimming the channels this week and I found Maleficent. And she's right. I have been deprived. That movie, on so many levels, do you know what I mean? About the absence of love and the betrayal of love and heartbreak and everything that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. And how she dealt with it. You know what I mean? Only, you know, of course, you know, I just love Beastie. For those of you who haven't seen it, you have to go and find it. But, you know, of course, all of my guys are my little beasties. You know what I mean? And you knew the writing was on the wall as she was growing in love for this, you know? And then the setup for, you know, True Love's Kiss, which she didn't believe existed. And of course, for those of you who haven't seen it, you know, True Love's Kiss comes in many, many, many shapes and forms and sizes. And just as she stood by the bed, you know what I mean, what she was telling her about what her anger had done and what her revenge had caused. And I had forgotten what she had done to the land of the fairies that she lived in until it was all healed. And so everything started to lighten up again. Anyway, you know, we've been, because we brought Wakan, for those of you who haven't met him yet, he's 3 months old and he is a little terror. Hi. And I totally forgot what a terror Takoda was. Until I'm starting to have flashbacks with Wakan's behavior and climbing on just anything that is higher than, you know, 3.5 feet was completely destroyed in our house by Takoda. And so now and Freedom didn't do it. He did not do that. You would think Freedom would have been the terror, because some of you, you know, this wild little crazy, but it's Wakan all of a sudden, you know, can reach everything and he just tears it down, he pulls it off, and he's off and running with something in his mouth that he shouldn't have. And then if you try and take it away from him, he believes that, you know, this is a big game and I'm the teacher. And he's jumping and biting ears, and it's just been, you know, and I was reading this morning that there are eight principles for success that the most successful people live by. And one is making a decision and then visualizing it. So we were kind of doing that this week with these guys, you know what I mean? We talked last week about Freedom has decided that the puppy is his and kind of separated him out of the pack. And said that, you know, so we have to integrate them back and talk to him. And so how do you talk to him? So we've been kind of closing my eyes and visualizing talking to him that way. And we talked last week also about the growling and the fighting, and then we get in between them and we change the tone of our voices and we go, kisses, no, we just do kisses. Which led to some of this talk too. It's like, kisses, only kisses. It's amazing if we go to that energy, what happens to their bodies, their tails start to relax and they start licking each other. So I did a little visualization and conversation with Wakan's higher self. Because it's literally, I'm tired of getting chewed on and my clothes being ripped. You should see my pajama pants. Now I meant to expect some of that because I've been through this so many times before. But, oh my goodness. And I saw this magnificent, big, old guy. Do you know what I mean? Wakan's higher self. And he was just kind of sitting there and I was like, hi. And then I said, what can I do about this? How do I do this? Because I do the gentle things, like when he starts to chew on me, I'm like, gentle, gentle, and he just is not calming down. Now he's only 3 months old too. And this visualization of the higher self of Wakan is like licking all over my face. Sort of like when, for those of you who know my first introduction to Shadow, who kind of climbed on top of me, put her forehead against mine and pressed me down into the pillow and kind of held me there. It was kind of like that only I was getting licked all over the place. Big, black, giant, magical, majestic wolf. And then he says, be patient. I'm like, and I said, so am I just supposed to get chewed up? For now. And he said, show him what I'm showing you. Close your eyes and see him licking your face. And at that moment, because I had Wakan with me, while I'm doing it on the lead, he jumped, these big paws that he has, and you see him now, jumped right on top of me and licked my face all over. It's the first licks kisses like that I've gotten from him since I was bottle feeding. And one of the biggest things about, you know, the laws of success, the people who are the most successful do, they make a decision and they visualize what they're doing and where they wanted to go. Now, he's not the best, but then Paul came home that night and he jumped on Paul and licked all over his face. And, you know, like, it took 3 seconds for him to then just grab at him with his teeth. The first impression was the licking on the face. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And so with Freedom and Cochise and the rest of the pack, I'm visualizing them all together kissing on each other and kissing on each other. You know, because what alternative do I have other than separating and segregating and muzzling and, you know, caging? And this is kind of how we react in this corporal, you know, in a corporal way that I was raised in. You know what I mean? Depending on how old you are, there's corporal punishment along the way and how bad behavior was treated. But I don't remember it being treated, you know what I mean, with love and kisses. You know? And usually bad behavior comes from some kind of absence or abandonment or those kind of feelings. So if you can get to the core of what's causing the behavior. Now we're dealing with wild animals, but I'm telling you, if you can work with a wild animal, it can work with a person. Because you can actually explain it to a person. I don't have to sit and visualize and show them how I want them to behave. You can talk to a person. And go, no, we just do loves, we just do kisses here. Love is not an equation, and it's not a contract, and it's not a happy ending. Love is this slate under the chalk, the ground that the buildings rise, and the oxygen in the air. It is the place you come back to, no matter wherever you're headed. So with that in mind, and kisses all over your face and mind, let's sing our opening meditation song. You are at your beautiful faces, I know that there is a great creator, that there is an intelligent force, a life force that created all of us in kind. And this is the oneness that we share with each other. And that we are connected to each other through this creative body, this creative energy. And that you are a perfect, mathematically correct vision and purposeful creation. And that you are here you are here to I don't know what that word is that wants to come out of me, but you are here for a special purpose. That's what it is. Not just a divine purpose, but your unique gifts and qualities that you got here with, and your heart's desire is always leading you towards that direction. And that opening your heart and opening yourself to others and knowing who you really are. And always reminding yourself of that, no matter what the circumstances that are out of your control or out of your reach, or what they appear to look like. You are perfection. You are manifested perfection, same as this creative force, this creative source that made the perfection of those mountains, those trees, and the universal laws itself. You are not separate from the universal laws of nature, of the place where you live and breathe, and every single part of your body down to the marrow of your bones is made of this magnificent stuff. And so there is nothing else that you can be except this magnificence. I know this. I embrace it. And I'm so grateful to know it, especially when I have a hard time remembering. And my remembrance of this in those times when it's really hard and I'm forgetting is what I reach for here. And so this sacred path that we are all on together is only complemented because you are unique, special, and completely different than anybody else. Isn't technology brilliant? Yes. His phone speaks. It's true though, isn't that a miracle then? You know, from where some of us have come from and what age we are. Anyway, I'm so grateful for this knowing. I'm so grateful for you here. I so appreciate that you come to hear me talk about what I have learned from these creatures. So I release this, my word, knowing that the laws of the universe and that this creative source holds you in the hands of grace always. And that you are grace. And so I say, and so it is. Say with me, amen, namaste, aho, no matter what language that makes this real for you. So thank you. We have to allow ourselves to be loved by the people who really love us, the people who really matter. Too much of the time we are blinded by our own pursuits of people who love us, of people who don't matter, while at the same time we waste, and the people who do love us have to stand on the sidewalk and watch us beg in the street. It's time to put an end to this. It's time for us to let ourselves be loved. And true love is usually the most inconvenient kind. I know that was true for Paul and I. I know there was divine destiny that brought us together, but at the most inconvenient time. It certainly wasn't on his mind. It was on my mind, but not with him in his situation. And at the time, it was also, I was losing my business due to this crisis, the economic crisis. So I had a lot of shame, like, what do I have to offer? I can't even pay my rent, and it's due in 4 days. Do you know what I mean? So this was an inconvenient time to open myself to love and expose myself to the truth of my circumstance at the time. And I can only say that I had been studying these principles. And, you know, of course, my husband is very, very forceful. And he doesn't have a lot of shyness to say what he's thinking. And so it took the two of us to let go of the shame of our lives at the time, to come together in a loving way, and to be here today. So I thank you. Now I'm going to call Greg LeBomb Jr. is going to come and sing a song called Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, right? Okay. So welcome, Greg!
When your legs don't work like they used to before, can't sweep you off of your feet. Will your mouth still remember the taste of your love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? 'Cause darling, I will be loving you until we're 17. Baby, my at 23, and I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just a touch of a hand. For me, I fall in love with you every single day. And I just want to tell you I am. So honey, now take me to your loving arms, kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars, and place your hand on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found love right where we are. When my hair's all but gone and the memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name, when my hands won't play the strings the same way, no, I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, yours can never grow, it's evergreen. Simple as I'm 23, and I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe it's some part of the plan. Well, I'll just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you understand. So baby, now take me into your loving arms, and kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars, and place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found love right where we are.
I will give them to you. You know, we have like all this romance that we pay money to have other people do. You know what I mean? We turn on the TV and we pay all this money, we go to the movies, and, you know, I have memorable movies. And I was thinking about them, and I have a list of some of them, and of course it'll date me, but, you know, the things that taught me, you know, the creativity and the writing and the movie making and the stories and the plays that taught me how I wanted love to be and how I wanted love to feel. And it's right where you are. Even if it's not the love of your life, you know what I mean? It's like love's for, you know, true love's kiss you get in your mind of Sleeping Beauty, which was given to us by whom? Disney, you know? Maleficent is a different version of love's true kiss. Or true love's kiss. Is not, you know, the Prince Charming. It's not Prince Charming, it's each one of us. It's how we treat each other. It's what we give to each other. And so if we're not open for it, if we're closing our hand to it, if we're turning away from it, it's usually at times that we don't feel we deserve it. Or we're angry with whoever it's coming from. Or like Maleficent, we're just angry at anybody and don't trust anyone because of the hurt and the pain that we've suffered in the past. And so then there's no room for healing anything if that does not happen, if we cannot be open to the love that is standing right on the sidewalk, watching us beg for it someplace else. An unrealistic fantasy term, you know? It didn't look like I thought it was going to. That's the hardest part, is getting your, you know what I mean, your idea of how it was supposed to look out of the way so that you can see what's standing right in front of you. Right where you are. Ingrid Bergman says, a kiss is a secret told to the mouth instead of the ear. I love that. Kisses are the messengers of love and tenderness. Mae West said a man's kiss is his signature. For those of you who don't know who she is, you're going to have to go look up some of this stuff. I'm really old for some of you. But one of the movies that I saw when I was like in junior high probably was a movie, I can't remember the name of, but it was Robert Goulet and Sandra Dee. And her, the measurement of love, which is what her father or her grandfather was telling her, was that when I kissed your mother, it knocked her shoes off. And I'm like, oh, how fun. So here's this Robert Goulet who's chasing Sandra Dee throughout the entire movie. She doesn't want anything to do with him because she's looking for who's going to knock her shoes off. And she keeps kissing all the guys until the end of the movie, of course. And then she kisses him and the shoes come right off. And then I think in the movie she tries it again to just make sure. She puts the foot. I was like, well, you know what I mean? That was like, wow, it's gonna feel like that. You know what I mean? And it knocks my shoes off. You know, and it does. It does. No, not literally. But there's something that happens when someone touches your skin anywhere. You know, kissing is like real estate. The most important thing is location, location, location. Found this quote. You know, a kiss on the neck, do you know what I mean, is, oh my gosh. You know, right down my spine that goes. You know, a kiss on the forehead lasts forever. Lasts forever. So it's not just the kiss on the mouth that knocks the shoes off. It's tenderness. Somehow we connect in that way. The kiss on the hand. You know, with kids and their boo-boos, you know what I mean? It's like where it hurts. You know what I mean? Getting a kiss like that creates a healing. Creates a connection, a loving, trusting connection between you and your child, whoever the boo-boos is. There was a movie called The River with Sissy Spacek and, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name now. But it doesn't matter. And he had to leave his farmland. It was in the 80s, and it was about the people losing their farms all over the country and having to go and work for other people, and he had to go and work in the mine. And she had to stay home and hold down the fort, and it was very dangerous for her to be around tractors and stuff like that. You know, so anyway, she went to see him because she felt him drifting apart and felt that his disconnection and felt that his despair was too great for him. So she came to see him. And they were sitting on the bed, and his shirt was off, and then she goes, "What happened here?" And he had all these little scars from this new job. She just started kissing each little wound. You know, unforgettable moments, and you know what I mean, in the movies. You know what I mean, that teach us, you know what I mean, about what we want in our own lives. You know, what happened here? Do we dare give that much up for each other in our own relationships with our own children? To show that kind of passion and compassion and reach out the way we learn to in the movies. Sometimes I do. I think even with Paul, as much as you guys know I love him and he knows I love him, sometimes it feels risky to do that. You know, because in real life, if he's in a mood, do you know what I mean? And I get shunned because it's not a good time. Does that make sense? It's like it makes it really difficult for me to go back again. And yet, why shouldn't I just push through that? Why shouldn't I just push through that? But I don't, you know? And vice versa. You know, he'll be in a bad way sometimes. I'll go and hug him, and, you know, just last week, I'm sorry, he said, you know, that doesn't really feel good. I got a headache. You know, that was hard for me. So the next time, I approached it differently because I knew I was going to do this talk. And I have to experiment on my own. But you know, I'm not as brave with my own relationship as I'm asking you to be. And I notice it because we've been hurt so many times that the scars are not necessarily on the outside of our bodies. They're in, if I do this, how will I be received? And if I'm not received well, and even with the person that I love and I'm spending the rest of my life with, can I go there again and again and again? So you have to almost talk yourself through the wounds and the injuries that we've been talking about the last few weeks. And then there's the kisses that don't happen, but you know that it happened in between. You know what I mean? You knew it happened between the eye contact, right? Anybody remember the Electric Horseman? I'm old. The Electric Horseman. The very end, Jane Fonda and Robert Redford, they're never going to see each other again. And they're sitting at a diner. And I'm like, kiss her! Just kiss her! And it never happens. And you know, they almost touch hands, but that doesn't happen either. And yet this scene seems to have taken up my entire history. I remember it like, look at me, I'm still upset that they didn't touch each other. The movie came out in 1980-something, 1 or 3, whatever. But I've never forgotten what they were doing with each other in that moment where they weren't touching. Now, when people ask me what's my favorite aspect of a man, you know, the physicality in his hands. I don't know why, but these big, strong hands, like, you know. It's like what people look for, the eyes, the legs, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, let me see those hands. I think I got it from The King and I. Oh my goodness, and of course you have to be old enough to remember this, but for those of you who are not, Yul Brynner, and she's teaching him how to dance, and in that day and age they didn't touch each other. Nobody touched. And especially the King of Siam. So anyway, they get, you know, it's this big white screen back then. It's not on a TV. You can only see it like this. But I was little, and all of a sudden, he's going to dance with her. And the camera goes directly to his hand, walking towards her. It's only a hand walking towards her. And I am this size going, oh my God. And I'm just thinking about right now, it was probably the sexiest thing that I have ever seen in my life. In any aspect of any movie, and sometimes I look for, you know, those kinds of things when I'm watching those movies, looking for that kind of intense decision, journey, and careful consideration to touch. And for any of you who have been touched inappropriately in their lives, do you know what I mean, in certain ways, I can understand how you could just appreciate someone just taking that much care. Even if it's in the filmmaking of watching him be careful and perfectly and in the right timing, knowing exactly when to touch her. And then to have this dance with skirts as big as this room flying around the room. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't the hand or the size of the hand, it was the intent behind the hand. And how big this hand was on the movie screen, and how gentle it was when they touched her waist. You know? These kind of things have impact on us. And I find it's something that we withhold from each other. You know, what kind of kisses are we giving each other? You know, people come here to get kissed by Alaska and Takoda, and you know, when we're single, we have animals to come and lick us and give us this contact. They say a good love is one that sits you down, gives you a drink of water, and pats you on the top of the head. But I say a good love is one that casts you into the wind, lets you ablaze, makes you burn through the skies, and ignites the night like a phoenix. The kind that cuts you loose like a wildfire, and you can't stop running simply because you keep on burning everything that you touch. I say that's a good love, one that burns and flies, and you run with it. This is something that Paul and I gave to each other that was never given to us before. Our heart's desire. You know, living with wolves. That wasn't my heart's desire, but there was something in my heart's desire, my destiny, that puts me up here talking to you, living in this way, with a man who ignites me, pushes me past in where I think I can go, and vice versa, and tasks us to live passionately. We task each other to do that. We're not careful with each other in that way. And it's hard. It's hard, it's risky and scary, and sometimes it feels like you won't have enough energy to make it. If a kiss could say just how I love you, my lips would be on yours forever. These are just some of the quotes that I found that I thought were great. If you ever think of me out of the blue, just remember it's all the kisses I've blown in the air finally catching up. Expressions of affection, like putting your arm around someone's shoulder, holding hands, or giving a kiss goodnight, involve the principle of honesty. So I think there's an integrity to the touch. You know what I mean? There's an integrity to the kiss. There's an integrity to the way you do it. Because I think if it's not honest, you can't do it often. You know? I don't think you can actually do it unless you mean it. And if you can't do it because you can't mean it, and you're with somebody that you love, you have to figure out what's keeping you from that kiss, so you can heal it, so it doesn't grow like Miss Maleficent's revenge and her anger, to turn everything that she touched and every whiff of any kind of energy that she walked by withered the way she felt. And we know these people, do you know what I mean? I've been this person. This is similar to the other one. I wasn't kissing her, I was whispering in her mouth. And this is for you, my dear friend. Jimi Hendrix says this: excuse me while I kiss this sky. We're going to call him up to sing another song called My Hero by the Foo Fighters.
about. Take your pictures down, check it out. Truth or consequence, say it out loud. Use that evidence, erase it around. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. Don't invest in them, bleed it out. While you're resting them, peek around. Truth or consequence, say it aloud. Use that evidence, erase it around. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. Who knows my hero? Live him all the best. Who knows my hero? One less son. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary.
We're all heroic. And it's ordinary. Ordinary folk like us. To do heroic things every single day. And sometimes we have nobody to share it with. But the more you get to know a person and the more that you know who they are and what they do and how they live their days, it's not this big heroic, Disney movie. But there are ways that you spoke to somebody or that you do for a living, that you have served humanity in a way that everybody is different because you are here for that moment. If it wasn't just for Greg singing this song here today to remind us, whatever it is that you do of service, even if you're getting paid for it, Some of it is more obvious than others, But sometimes you just said something and looked at somebody the right way and got their attention and let them know that they were loved and that it was worth it for them to be here. That happens every single day in all of the aspects of our lives. Now, for those of you who know me a little bit, I like I like science. So here are some things that have been documented about the benefits of kissing. So I wanted to tell you about them before we go. Those who kiss their partner goodbye each morning live 5 years longer than those who don't. Now, I'm guilty of that. He won't leave the house without that. I know. I know. I get all, you know, when I have to leave the property, I've got all this stuff, and I'm like driving out the property, and he's like, hello. I'm like, oh. Kissing is great for self-esteem. It makes you feel appreciated, and it helps your state of mind. Kissing burns calories. 2 to 3 calories a minute.
How many?
2 to 3 calories a minute, and can double your metabolic rate. Research claims that 3 passionate kisses a day, at least lasting 20 seconds, will cause you to lose an entire extra pound. Well, according to this, it sounds like a day. I know my new sweet is going to be.
Yeah.
It's time to start the kissing diet. Kissing is a known stress reliever. Passionate kissing relieves tension, reduces negative energy, and produces a sense of well-being, lowering your cortisol stress hormone. Kissing uses 30 facial muscles, and it helps keep the facial muscles tight, preventing baggy cheeks. The tension in the muscles caused by a passionate kiss helps smooth the skin and increases circulation. I love this study. I did not know what I was going to find. I thought it was going to be all kind of psychological. Look at the physical effects of kissing. Kissing is good for the heart, as it creates an adrenaline which causes your heart to pump more blood around your body. Frequent kissing has scientifically been proven to stabilize cardiovascular activity, decrease blood pressure, and cholesterol. Okay, I'm not done yet. Those who kiss quite frequently are less likely to suffer from stomach, bladder, and blood infections. During a kiss, natural antibiotics are secreted in the saliva. Also, the saliva contains a type of anesthetic that relieves pain. Kissing reduces anxiety and stops the noise in your mind. See, Mom? It increases the levels of oxytocin, an extremely calming hormone that produces a feeling of ease. Better than meditation. The endorphins produced by kissing are 200 times more powerful than morphine. Woo! Anyway, I love this study. I thought I was going to find this little bit of tidbits for you, and I'm like, woo! Anyway, before we go, I'm going to just let you know that we don't pass a basket around here, but if you do have any kind of monetary gift that you can give to us, we've got some bowls over here. It all goes to the wolves and to help promote what we're doing here, to help Paul and Tree Cave. Yes, you can wait here. We have the burden basket, so if you have anything that is brought up today that keeps you from allowing love into your heart and love into your life, write it down, put it over there in the basket, and I will burn it for you and send it out to the elements and release it. She can come. And we have a joy jar on the other end, so if you want to write down what you're grateful for and what you love and strengthen that and put it in the jar and put it there and manifest more, we've got that available to you. We're going to go see the animals later. And there you go. I have a favorite poem that I have loved my entire life as soon as I read it, and it's about kissing, so I'm going to read it from you. It's a Shelley poem. No, it doesn't belong to you. No, you can't touch that. You stand here and wait for me, okay? So this is love's philosophy. The fountains mingle with the river, and the river with the ocean. And the winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Nothing in this world is single. All things by a law divine, in one spirit meet and mingle. Why not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me? That's my favorite poem about kissing. So let's sing and finish with our song, Face of God. Are you ready, Kate? Okay. Now there's sign language to it, so we're going to teach it to you and then we'll all sing it together. All right, you ready? Okay, you are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Okay. What do you say? Hit it, Paul. Hit it, Paul.